Hey guys, how's it going? I found this little article. I saw it in my paper today and I thought I'd talk about it. It has to do with the task force that was looking at the stand your ground law. And of course, they suggested stand your ground law is just fine the way it is. And we've been saying that all along, but that's not what this video is about. Apparently, the AP service has not learned the lesson about this case. It seems to me they don't understand the lesson that NBC is learning now. And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Of course, the beginning of the video, or the article, they're talking about the stand your ground case, and they're suggesting that Florida stand your ground law should not be overturned, but the standards for the neighborhood watch group should be looked at. Of course, they don't tell you anything about the specifics of what they're asking them to look at, and they don't tell you that the Florida state law has no power over neighborhood watch groups. The legislature can't pass any law that would tell people what they can do with their guns. They can't tell people that they can't walk around the neighborhood with their gun monitoring their neighborhood. They can't tell people that they can't join a neighborhood watch and do whatever they want because it's none of the state's business. We, the people, are more powerful than the state, more powerful than the federal government. Why? Because we're the boss. But that's not the point of this video. And here you can see the report recommends that the legislature look at the neighborhood watch groups. The parents of Trayvon Martin had asked the task force to change the law. Tracy and Sabrina had asked the task force in June to support an amendment called the Trayvon Martin Amendment to the law, which would make it harder for someone who starts a fight to use self-defense argument under the law. Well, that's already been settled in the law. The Florida legislature said, look, if you start a fight, if you walk up to somebody and punch them square in the nose and knock them down, and then get in a fight, and they're whipping your butt, and you say, look, I want to stop. Okay, you're hurting me really badly now. I'm really concerned for my life that I might die at this point. Please stop. I see that I started it. I see that I'm losing, and I'm asking you to please stop. If you don't stop, I'm going to have to defend my life. This is what the Florida legislature wanted. That's why they put it in there. They said, if you're dying, if you're being killed, if you feel that your life's about ready to be ended, even if you started the fight, if you show clear intent to quit, but the other person refuses to quit, then that's what it is. I mean, the point is that you started a fight. You weren't trying to kill somebody. But anyhow, that's not the main point of this video. The main point of this video is about the AP and that all the news services and the companies that claim to be news services. This is important, and I really hope that Georgia's defense team grab hold of this, make sure that they do to the AP service exactly what they're doing to NBC. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more news agencies that are going to be held responsible for this. But this is what I wanted to talk about. Here in the next paragraph, it says a 19-member task force suggested that the neighborhood watch groups be limited to observing, not pursuing, confronting, or provoking potential suspects. This is a suggestion that somebody was pursuing, trying to confront, or provoke Trayvon, which absolutely didn't happen. And we have evidence, we have all the witnesses. We're 100% positive that Trayvon confronted and provoked George, or actually he didn't even provoke George. He attacked George and got him on the ground and banged his head on the concrete and broke his nose. Those are the facts that are in the case. That's the evidence we have, the solid evidence. But the AP doesn't want to talk about that. What's the AP want to talk about? Well, let's see. They start the story on February 26, 2012, blah, blah, blah. The story goes on. We all know the story. Zimmerman spotted Martin walking through the neighborhood. Martin was walking back to the house where he stayed after a trip to the convenience store. Zimmerman started to follow him because he thought he looked suspicious, despite a police dispatcher telling him, you don't have to do that. Zimmerman got out of his truck to pursue Martin. This is a lie, and I hope the defense team picks this up. This is just sick. AP is telling people that despite the police dispatcher telling George, you don't have to do that, he got out of his truck to pursue Martin. Anyhow, this is what they're telling you. It's a lie. The real truth is that at the clubhouse, the dispatcher tells George, if he does anything else, let us know. If he does anything else, let us know. How are you supposed to let the police know if Trayvon does something else if you lose sight of him? So, in fact, the dispatcher told him to keep an eye on him, monitor his movements, follow him. No, he didn't use the word follow, did he? He said, let us know if he does anything else. What's that mean? That means keep track of his movements. Watch him. Let us know if he does anything else. But that's not what the AP wants you to believe. The AP wants you to believe that they told George to stay in his truck. That's a straight out lie. It's a straight out lie from hell. How do I know that it was a lie? Well, it's very simple. Trayvon was running away or disappeared around the corner. George gets out of his car. We can hear the ding of the bell as he gets out of his car. Anyone want to doubt that? I'd love to debate it. George starts breathing hard as if he's walking fast. The dispatcher says, "Are you following him?" George said, "Yes." The dispatcher said, "We don't need you to do that." George said, "Okay," and stopped. Is that pretty clear? Does that make any sense to you people that are Trayvonites? No, of course not. Because no matter what, you're going to believe that George followed him, continued following him. And the AP is telling you that. Why do you believe that? Because you're listening to the lamestream media. So AP is lying here. This whole paragraph, starting where it says on February 26th, all the way through that paragraph, they're just liars. Liars, and they're just 100% holding George responsible for something that he didn't do and lying about it. After all this evidence is out, they're still lying about it. If they were to tell the lie in the very beginning and say, "Oh, we just got it wrong," that'd be one thing. It's been a year, for God's sakes. Figure it out, man. The next sentence is, they got into a fight and Martin was shot. Is that the truth? Why can't they say that the evidence shows that George was punched in the nose by Trayvon? Trayvon got on top of him and bashed his head on the concrete several times, busting open his head, leaving gash wounds, blood all over his face. Oh, no, we're not going to talk about that. But the AP is going to be held responsible for this. This particular article, if I were George's defense, I would be cutting and holding all these together so that when the time comes, not only is NBC going to get it, but the AP and anybody who posted AP articles without double checking them, including my local newspaper. So now they're quoting the task force chairman, a pastor at the Bethel Missionary Baptist Church in Tallahassee. And he noted in a letter to the group's chair that Florida Stand Your Ground law is associated with increased death toll that falls disproportionately on minority groups, and that shooting a person in the back as he is trying to escape is, by definition, not self-defense. Can you believe that they posted that in this article? Well, it's kind of hard to hold them responsible for this straight-out lie, but it's obvious that they are twisting the facts. Who here, which Trayvonite that listens to my video, which person who supports Trayvon to the max will tell me that Trayvon was shot in the back? Nobody? Of course not, because most of you guys at least have a half a clue. But the media? No. And this guy that was involved, the chairman, or the vice chairman, you think he might have a clue as to what happened in the case? Do you think he might know that Trayvon wasn't shot in the back? No, of course not. Well, maybe he did. But you know what? They're going to grab this little clip of him saying that, and they're going to post it. And what are the people that don't know about this case going to believe? They're going to believe that this pastor, supposedly a man of God, couldn't be lying about this, and that we're talking about this case. And what are we saying about the case? That shooting a person in the back as he is trying to escape is by definition not self-defense. We all agree with that, Pastor. God agrees with that, Pastor. Nobody here is suggesting that it's stand your ground if you chase a man down and shoot him in the back. Are you that stupid? I mean, God gives horses more sense than you, Pastor. I'm sorry to say it. But I'm not holding the pastor responsible for this. The fact that he said it and that they quoted it, of course, it's evil. It's sick. It's gross. It's a miscarriage of justice. But do I blame the pastor that they took his words and twisted them and made them look like this is what really happened in this case? No, I blame the AP. And I expect George's defense and George's legal team to hold the AP responsible, because if they don't, these people will continue to do this, and they will hurt people, honest, law-abiding people, as they've done with George. If they've done it to George, they'll do it to you. They'll do it to your brother and your aunt and your uncle. So if you think this is cute, if you like it, all we can do is hope that it happens to you so that you can see it from the proper perspective. Anyhow, sorry, it just bugged me. Good talking to you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.